Operation Wonder Weapon, Book 1, Chapter 3. Rescue. Ray, Nick, and Larry crouched low in the tree line, the rumble of engines fading into the hills. The last SS truck vanished down the switchback, banners flapping red in the pale light. Nick waited another beat, knuckles white around his rifle.
They're gone.
Ray let out a long breath.
Then we move.
He checked his laces.
Hey, look, they're still good. Boot hasn't come off since Naples was taken.
That's a first.
The motorbike coughed to life, sputtering before catching. Larry straddled the seat, Nick wedged behind him, and Ray awkwardly climbed into the sidecar with his gear. The machine rattled and roared as it lurched up the rutted road toward the looming octagon of Castel del Monte. The gates yawned open. Not a guard, not a soul. Only scraps of paper scudded in the courtyard breeze. The silence was oppressive, as if the whole castle had exhaled and died.
Empty.
Larry muttered, voice hushed despite himself.
I don't like it.
Inside, the halls were littered with crates half-packed, tools left behind, cables torn from the walls. Footsteps echoed too loud as they picked their way through. Each room was another hollow shell of departure, until they reached the laboratory. Here the chaos was sharper, tables overturned, relics scattered, tags fluttering, the smell of chemicals clung in the air, and in the center, bound to the heavy oak chair, sat
John!
Nick and Ray rushed over urgently, afraid of the worst, but as they got a good look, they realized their mistake. It looked like John, but not. His hair looked exactly the same, exact hairline. His features were softened, carved in pale wood. Wood grain ran faintly across his neck and hands. The face was sculpted, brows, nose, chin, cheeks, but simplified. Then the remaining details painted on, brows and a simple line for the lashes. Though a simplification of John, it looked like it was done with tremendous care and attention. Ray nudged the hanging head, whispering,
What the heck?
Nick's voice was bitter.
First wooden planes, decoy airfields, now fake prisoners. How dumb do they think we are?
And then the figure stirred, head shifting, painted brows furrowing, a faint creak of joints. Both men reeled back in horror. Nick's rifle snapped up on instinct. The shot echoed like thunder in the vaulted chamber. The wooden man's head snapped upright, cartoon round eyes flashing wide open, painted irises staring straight at them. At the smoking rifle. For a frozen second, no one moved. Each side regarding each other in horror. John slowly looked down. The smoking hole in his shirt was clean through. His head raised slowly back to them, jaw slack, voice unmistakably his.
Private? You shot me!
The chamber went silent for 2 beats except for John's echoing words. Nick still had the rifle raised, eyes bulging. Ray's jaw hung like a busted hinge. Neither moved. John glanced back down at the hole in horror.
I need a medic.
Then Larry clattered in from the side passage, pockets bulging with hardware, his satchel dragging heavy with scavenged switches and gauges. He looked from John to the 2 frozen men and back again.
What the heck did I miss?
Nick sputtered, words tumbling over each other.
The captain, he's wood.
Larry blinked.
What, like a mannequin?
That got John's attention away from his injury.
What did you say?
His men were looking at him like a spider on the wall.
Captain, You're made of wood.
Larry said, like he couldn't believe the words coming from his mouth. John's mouth parted, and he looked down at himself again. He flexed his fingers, twisted his restrained forearms, studied the mechanical segmentation of wrists and finger joints. Anger and shame hit all at once. His breath faltered as he tried not to let panic overtake him. He looked back at his boys. They were terrified of him. John squeezed his eyes shut. He swallowed against the horror washing through him. He gestured helplessly.
I know this is shocking, but it's still me. I'm not going to hurt you. Please, untie me. I can explain.
They hesitated but obeyed, uncertain if they were unleashing something they didn't understand. When he was free, they took a few steps back, unsure of what this creature that looked like their captain would do. John stood, all pain gone. His double-jointed knees buckled a moment. He adjusted and released his hold on the chair. His thigh was whole. The stitches hung useless from the tear in his trousers. He reached a trembling hand toward his face and stopped short.
How bad is it?
The men glanced at one another, then back at him, still speechless.
Sir?
How does it look?
Finally, Ray muttered and gestured awkwardly.
Sir, you look chiseled, but definitely, wood.
He forced himself to resume his exploration, feeling his face. No eye sockets, no nostrils. His mouth was the only orifice on his head. He felt sick, not to his stomach. That was missing. His whole chest felt sick.
Sir, what has happened? Does this have to do with the blue fire?
Larry's head cocked as he continued to blink and question his sanity. John probed the bullet hole. Metal lodged in splintered wood, sap seeping like blood. It radiated pain, but differently. Nick looked regretfully at the injury.
Yes, it most certainly does.
He muttered, distractedly rubbing splinters off. He looked around. No Nazis in sight.
First things first. Are the Germans gone? How did you find me? And how did you get here?
Ray drew breath to protest. John had promised answers, but Larry grabbed his arm, cutting him off.
Our troops took Naples. Nero got word that a glowing soldier was brought to Castel del Monte.
Larry rattled it off, hands moving as if still explaining it to himself.
We told Major Ellison where you were. He fudged papers for us to do work at Foggia Base and tipped us about a motorbike. After the Jerrys evacuated the castle, we came in uncontested.
Forget that!
Ray gestured with both hands at John.
What on earth happened to you? Can anyone even help you?
John sighed and scowled, searching for words he hoped never to speak. There was nothing he could say except the truth.
This is how I came into this world.
What?
Larry blinked. John cringed, head lowering in shame.
I began life as a puppet.
John said the word as if it were dirty, his voice low and guarded.
Crafted by an old man in a remote alpine village. He was alone and made a wish. He wanted a son. I became that wish.
I don't understand.
John shifted uncomfortably. Telling the story felt like ripping a hangnail.
Magic, Ray. Literal magic. I was a wooden puppet. An actual fairy enchanted me to life.
Okay.
Larry nodded, face scowling in concentration.
So, ya obviously weren't a puppet when we met.
John steeled himself, arms folding protectively.
No, I had to earn my humanity. It was like a test, but I eventually became flesh and blood. I moved on, grew up, lived a normal human life.
The men didn't move as they listened, entirely consumed by their study of his face, the flexing wood, the fluctuating painted surfaces.
The very force that gave me my humanity and life itself. The Nazis had something that revealed that magic within me.
John gestured to the lab and the empty metal stand.
They had a wand. They used me to recharge it. I blacked out. I'm guessing they took away the magic that made me human.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Ray admitted quietly. John frowned and looked away, humiliated. Larry finally stepped closer and tentatively put a hand on John's shoulder. He tested the hardness, then let his hand rest.
We'll take you any way you come, Captain. We were beside ourselves when we had to leave you, weren't we, boys?
They nodded, but failed to fully smile. John smiled weakly. His new face was warm and inviting and seemed to put them at ease. Their stances relaxed, if only a little. John set his segmented hand over Larry's, cold wood over hot flesh, and gave a nod of thanks. Larry glanced toward the lab. Papers lay scattered across the floor where German officers had abandoned their work in their haste. He rattled over, curiosity pricking stronger than caution, and knelt to gather them. Charts lined with jagged, wavy lines, equations he couldn't follow, notes scrawled in German.
I don't read a word of this,
he admitted, gathering the pages.
But if I can get them translated, maybe we can reverse what they've done.
Larry rolled the papers into his satchel, determination hardening his expression. He didn't know what they meant yet, but he would. John cracked his knuckles anxiously, the wooden pop loud in the ruined chamber.
I like your initiative, but don't get your hopes up. Becoming human wasn't simple the first time.
Nick cast a nervous glance toward the archway.
We need to go. We've already taken a great risk coming here. Let's get back to Naples before someone notices.
John straightened.
We gotta go straight to command. We've a new problem now.
He glanced at the empty wand stand.
The Nazis now have a weapon that is highly charged with magic. If they figure out how to use it, they can unleash nightmares from every fairy story you've ever heard.
Ray's brows furrowed.
What are we talking about, Captain? Witches? Curses? Some old wives' tale nonsense?
I'm talking about power that rewrites reality.
John replied evenly.
Bodies, matter, circumstance. If they can direct it, they can turn it into whatever serves them.
Nick rubbed his face.
I'm still adjusting to my captain being carved from lumber. You'll have to ease us into the rest.
John exhaled.
And I have to convince generals as well.
John strode forward but kicked something. It skidded across the floor with a dull thunk. John bent, plucked up a scuffed boot, and held it aloft with one brow raised. Ray groaned.
Oh, come on!
He snatched it back and jammed it on, muttering curses as he tugged the laces tight. John shook his head, a faint smile ghosting his lips. Even after everything, some things never changed. Naples, HQ debrief. The Naples villa still smelled of smoke and damp plaster. Windows blacked out, walls plastered with maps of Italy scrawled with grease pencil arrows. Phones rang, typewriters clattered. Runners brushed past with clipped salutes. The squad was shepherded into a side room, not quite a conference chamber. A single table and mismatched chairs. John stood stiffly, gloves on, bandages wound up to his hat brim, leaving only a slit for him to see through. His posture soldierly, even in his filthy, tattered civilian clothes. His men flanked him like bodyguards. Bootsteps approached. The door opened. Major General Ellery didn't even sit. He slapped a folder against the table. Ignoring the soldiers, he ranted,
Convoy out of Salerno hit last night. Every truck burned. Not one survivor. They'd rerouted at the last minute. No way Jerry should have known.
Brigadier General Godfrey's jaw was set tight.
That's the third time this week. Either we've got moles all the right eyes in our staff, or...
He let it hang, unwilling to voice the alternative. The intelligence colonel muttered.
The old HQ at Capua shelled before the ink on the orders was dry. Someone's feeding them straight from our map table.
Ellery's gaze swept the room, sharp, impatient.
So let's be clear. Our time is not for personal issues. Major Ellison reports the SS have acquired a weapon whose applications exceed conventional warfare.
He closed the folder.
You have 2 minutes before I walk.
Brigadier Godfrey, less agitated, folded his hands.
Alston said it was urgent. I'd like to hear it.
The intelligence colonel, Hugh Weatherford, muttered as he set down a folder.
We already have plenty of rumors of Nazi wonder weapons. Some actual evidence might be helpful.
Lieutenant Colonel James H. Kessler, the medical officer, stood with arms crossed, stethoscope draped around his neck, skeptical. John's men shifted uneasily. John steeled himself.
Sirs,
He said, calm and precise.
you cannot evaluate the weapon the SS now possess until you understand the nature of the power it wields.
Ellery's jaw tightened.
And what nature is that, Captain?
John met his gaze evenly.
It is not mechanical. It is not chemical. It answers to laws we do not know. The only evidence I have available to demonstrate that fact,
He continued.
is myself.
He quickly tugged off both gloves. The generals stared, not registering what they were seeing yet. John unwound the bandages from his head. The cloth slithered free. Painted eyes blinked open, brows furrowed, mouth set in a soldier's line.
They did not build the weapon, they charged it with what they took from me.
The colonel's pen fell from his hand. Silence. John's painted pupils darting between them. Then the reactions broke all at once.
Good night.
Godfrey staggered a half step back, face blanching.
What in heaven's name?
Colonel Weatherford leaned forward, eyes narrowed.
Lifelike articulation. If the Germans built this, it is impressive.
Kessler stepped forward at once, fingers pressed to John's wrist.
No pulse.
He rapped the forearm with his knuckles.
Solid.
He tipped John's head toward the light and registered the reaction of the painted pupils. His face drained.
Good heavens, Captain. Do you feel pain? Can you eat? Do you breathe?
Ellery barked.
Shirt off.
John hesitated, but slowly he unbuttoned and stripped away the ratty shirt. Pale wood gleamed in the lamplight. Shoulders carved broad, chest muscled, the splintered bullet hole in the middle of his chest. Nick cringed. Kessler's experienced hands probed at seams and joints of his segmented torso and waist, searching for deception, muttering,
Impossible. This is impossible.
He fingered the bullet hole and looked at John with horror.
You took a bullet to the chest, and you're still standing.
Ellery circled around him, assessing.
Zimmerman, prove you're not a German trick. First combat.
The White War, Piave River, 1918.
Medals?
Gold Medal of Military Valor.
Unit?
John rattled it off, crisp, every detail exact. More questions followed. Names, dates, personal details. John answered each without hesitation. His voice was steady, though shame colored every word. Godfrey studied him, quiet.
That's not a mannequin reciting facts. That's a soldier.
Ellery cut Godfrey a glare, then turned back.
So what the heck are you, Captain?
Every eye in the room locked onto his simulated human face. His eyes fell to the floor. A hand instinctively rubbed at the joinery and seams at his waist to hide it. Larry handed his shirt back. As he rebuttoned his shirt, he retold the story. Clipped, precise, and unembellished. He explained the wand and the extraction. When he finished, the room got uncomfortably silent as minds struggled to mesh the fantastical with reality. Finally, the doctor gestured helplessly.
What the heck are we supposed to do with you? This shouldn't exist. This violates every principle of biology.
Ellery cut him off.
I don't give a dang about principles. This is a diversion of our energies.
Godfrey was taking his turn to feel John's living wood and even poked at his eyes, forgetting his manners. John flinched at the intrusion.
How does this work? Can the paint scratch off? Would you go blind?
John scowled and pushed Godfrey's hand away.
Respectfully, stop.
Nick muttered to his companions over the din of debate.
He's more human than half the brass I've met.
John raised a segmented hand, quieting them, his painted eyes unsettlingly earnest, fixed on the generals.
You can debate what I am later. Right now, you need to understand what they have. The Nazis used me to recharge a weapon, a wand. They drained the force that made me flesh and blood, and they'll use it against us if we don't stop them. That's the intelligence that matters.
The room sat in stunned silence, the weight of his words hanging like dust in the lamplight. The explanation of the wand didn't seem to cause sufficient alarm. They didn't understand. After another beat, Godfrey spoke up, voice low but steady.
Captain, you are respected and accomplished, even recommended for Major. What can we do for you?
John paused, surprised by the question.
I'm not sure yet, but foremost, I would appreciate discussion of my
He flexed his fingers.
condition. I am not proud of this. I didn't choose this.
Godfrey regarded him a little more kindly.
Do you want to go home, Captain?
John's face went slack. Home, his wife, his children. The horror of them seeing him like this chilled him more than any battlefield.
No, I have to solve this. The answers are here at the front.
What is required to
Kessler gestured up and down.
restore you?
I don't know. This is different than last time. Last time conditions were listed and met. This time, I don't know what to do, sirs.
Ellery cut in, brusque.
If they have a weapon powerful enough to override natural law, what we need then is neutralizing this wand you mentioned. You said they still need an activation phrase?
Yes, sir.
John said, instinctively soldiering up.
They spoke of a prisoner who knows it. I surmise that tracking down this prisoner is the next best step to removing their ability to activate their weapon.
I'll take that under advisement.
Ellery nodded, scowling at John's cartoonish face. He turned to Kessler.
In the meantime, what do we do with him? You want to examine him?
Kessler nodded sharply.
Absolutely. This is a scientific anomaly that merits further investigation.
Weatherford cut in before Ellery could respond.
With respect, sir, putting him on a table gains us nothing. We don't even have the framework to know what to test. And we don't have the luxury of curiosity.
He gestured toward John.
The Germans have the weapon. He understands it. The only place Captain Zimmerman is of value is in the field.
Godfrey nodded.
He's still a captain. Better retreat him like one.
John looked to him appreciatively. Ellery's jaw worked, weighing it. At last, he growled.
Fine. Captain Zimmerman remains with his men. He'll wear gloves, keep his head masked. This doesn't go beyond this room. Classified, until the wand is neutralized.
He jabbed a finger at John.
And afterward, Captain, we'll decide what to do with you.
The order hung heavy, half condemnation, half reprieve. But it was enough. John straightened, saluted with the smooth sound of wood on wood. Larry turned over the papers he'd recovered from the castle, but had managed to copy them into his notebook during their return journey. John and his men were ushered out of the smoky villa chamber. They paused in the narrow hall just outside the door to let a messenger by. Godfrey's voice came low through the cracked door.
You have to admit, he looks like something out of a storybook.
A muted chuckle, Weatherford perhaps. Ellery's reply cut it short.
Storybook or not, he'll never make major now. You can't put that in front of a regiment.
The words struck harder than gunfire. John stood motionless in the corridor, painted eyes fixed ahead. Behind him, his men shifted, pale, tight-lipped. John said nothing, his jaw set. He had fought for that rank long before this war, fought for it in workshops and classrooms, in accents softened and citizen papers earned, in proving he belonged. He had been told it would be his when he returned. Now, the wood had spoken for him. His men did not speak. They did not need to. The Matron of Wonder. Colditz Castle. The iron door screeched open. 2 guards half-dragged an old woman in a filthy, tattered blue robe into the corridor, her head lolling, dripping wet hair plastered to her head. Her hands and feet were swaddled in bloody bandages. The stale reek of carbolic clung to her clothes. Behind them, a man in a stained apron stepped out of the chamber, methodically wiping down a length of steel with a cloth. He didn't look at her as he muttered,
"Unbelievable. She still won't give a syllable."
The guards grunted and shoved her forward. She stumbled once, gasped for breath, and was half thrown into the small, windowless cell. The heavy door slammed shut behind her, bolts thudding home. She lay there on the stone, sobbing quietly, her tears soaking into the grit. For a long while she didn't move. Her swollen and split lips trembled with words too faint to carry.
"No one is coming. No one even knows."
Darkness pressed on all sides. The silence rang heavier than screams. Then, a faint scratch, tiny claws against metal. She blinked, held her breath, and lifted her head to listen. Through the food slot, no larger than a hand's breadth, a whiskered nose pushed through, sniffing the air. A tear still hung on her cheek, but she gave a breathless, wry laugh.
"God helps those who help themselves."
She shifted weakly to her elbow, her voice softening.
"Well, aren't you, bold little one? How is your nest, your children?"
The mouse froze, whiskers twitching at the sound of her gentle tone. She coaxed it closer, her voice kind and steady despite the pain. It scrambled up into her bandaged hand and stood attentively erect on its haunches.
"Would you do a favor for an old woman? Carry a word to your friends above. Just one word. Tell them where I am. Tell them to find help."
The mouse's keen ears regarded her in the pitch blackness. She let down her hand, and the mouse scurried across the floor and slipped back through the slot.
"Godspeed, little one."
An hour later, on the battlements, pigeons sat preening themselves. The tiny mouse approached and stood erect, and began a series of tiny squeaks. A pigeon tilted its head, listening in that fidgety, uncanny way. The mouse scurried away. The pigeon hesitated only a moment, then launched skyward. Its wings beat against the night air, circling once over the looming towers before streaking south, toward the war, toward soldiers who did not yet know fate was on its way. John's face. Naples, October. The billet was quiet, only the tick of cooling pipes and the faint shuffle of boots in the hall below. John shut the door and set his pack on the cot. He unwrapped his head and dug out the battered shaving mirror. It was no bigger than his palm, the tin frame dented. His fingers now had no fingerprints or fingernails. It felt like he had lost all dexterity and grip. He dropped it onto the bed a few times before he got it steady. The mirror showed him what the others had already seen. A face carved in pale, living wood. Cheeks fuller, less sallow, contours softened. Lips a simply rendered carving, all wrinkles smoothed. His ears and nose were under-rendered. A suggestion of the originals. His startled, painted eyes followed his movements, shifting, blinking. To anyone else, it might look harmless, almost friendly. To John, it was emasculating. He studied it in silence. The mirror trembled faintly in his grip before he set it down, jaw tightening. His shirt came off next. On his chest, a chipped bullet hole just left of center. A great shot. No blood, only sap, clear and sticky, oozing down the carved plane of his chest. The sensation of pain was different. It had taken him time to realize how much pain he was in. It radiated through his chest. He could feel the bullet. The sap was thickening, hardening like amber, a translucent scab. His chest moved with breath, a simulation of life without the need for air. His torso, like his face, had all the correct features, but simplistic. Pectoral muscles, the shape of a strong chest and stomach. His waist and pelvis were separate pieces. He flexed and twisted, watching the pieces pivot and move past each other. It was not the same as when he was a child. As a child, his body had been even simpler, but now the enchantment had inversely approximated the shape of his adult body. After his inspection, he fished out some needle-nose pliers and painfully dug the bullet out of his chest. When it came free, he studied it with a scowl. One look at him and his own boys had shot him. A knock. John recoiled, dropping the bullet and pliers. He scrambled for something to hide his altered form.
"Who is it?"
he demanded more harshly than intended. A timid reply.
"Sir?"
It was only Larry. John exhaled raggedly.
Come in.
Larry edged in, holding some cloth and leather items. His brown hair had been given a fresh buzz, making his cranium look smaller. After closing the door, he stopped dead. His eyes flicked to the hole in John's chest.
"Looks like you need a carpenter more than a medic."
John rolled his eyes. Larry swallowed, stepped closer, and leaned to peer at the wound.
"I could rig you some filler, wood paste, stain, polish, restore the finish a little."
He was so eager to help, yet helpless to do anything.
"No."
It's fine. It's healing.
"Really? It can do that?"
"I'm not a scrap piece of wood, Lieutenant. I'm alive."
He sounded more annoyed than he meant to. John buttoned on a fresh shirt, hiding the amber sheen, then put on his field jacket. Larry laid out his collection.
"Took some horse trading. I fixed a bomber crew's radio. They gave me the frostbite mask. The goggles came off an Alpini who won't be climbing anything again. The hood, Red Cross knit, common as mud. Covers your neck, head, and face. Nobody'll see a single grain."
John lifted the leather mask, heavy in his hands. Simple and crude, the dark brown suede leather was a flat, circular, face-sized panel with a cone sewn on for the nose and a separate rectangular panel with breathing holes sewn over the mouth. Holes were cut for eyes. The dark goggles stared back like insect eyes. He pulled on the woolen hood first, tucking the ends into his shirt. Then he strapped on the mask, the goggles, and his helmet last. Once adjusted, he turned once more to the mirror. The painted face was gone. Now only the hard, anonymous mask looked back. At least he wouldn't have to worry about overheating in it.
"You look like a killer from Weird Menace."
He lowered the mirror, setting it back in his pack. His voice was low, steady, muffled.
Thank you. This will do fine.
Larry hesitated, then spoke gently.
"I don't care what you're made of, sir. I'm glad you're still with us."
John regarded him from behind the dark lenses. For a moment, the silence stretched. Then he tugged his gloves on and grabbed his pack.
Let's get back to work.
Correspondence. The air outside the villa was sharp with diesel and damp wool. Trucks rattled in the courtyard, men shouting over engines as supplies were lashed down. Major Ellison stood at a field table, a map pinned under a rock, his cap pulled low against the morning drizzle. He looked up as John and his men approached, boots thudding in unison. Ellison's gaze lingered on John, head swaddled in hood, mask, and goggles. He had seen the wooden face already, before John reported to Naples. If John's new state troubled him still, he gave no sign. Instead, he lifted a bundle from the table and held it out.
Mail. Came in from Naples this morning. Letters, packages. Don't drop them in the mud.
The bundle was passed down the line, men clutching envelopes as if they were rations of sunlight. John held his in both hands with mixed emotions. Ellison lowered his voice.
Listen close. While you were up at HQ and getting refitted, I was able to send orders out to the rest of your squad. I told them their captain was taken, tortured, and survived. That's all they need to know. You'll lead, but you need space. They don't gawk, they don't touch, they don't whisper. They respect it, or they answer to me.
His eyes locked onto John's tinted goggles. John nodded. It would have to do.
Good. You're headed north with the next convoy. Rejoin your company at the Volturno. Engineers are needed for bridge clearance and road work. Jerry's blown every span they retreated past. Simple job, except...
His jaw tightened.
The Krauts have been hitting us like they've got our playbook. HQ's shelled the same night they set up. Ammo dumps lit up before the crates were stacked. Spies? Maybe. Or maybe worse. Things were in our favor and now it's flipped. We're going to bleed for every foot of ground.
Engines growled as the first truck lurched forward. Ellison folded his arms, studied his men one by one.
You've got 2 days' rations, ammo, and each other. Keep sharp, keep moving. Dismissed.
As the boys got into the truck, Ellison called John back. He put a hand on John's hard shoulder. The major couldn't help but feel unsettled, like gripping a body with rigor mortis.
I still recommend you for Major. You're the best man I know.
Under the mask, John swallowed.
That means a lot, sir, especially right now.
If Command reports anything about that wand, I'll keep you informed.
John nodded gratefully. The squad mounted the waiting truck, the canvas flaps snapping in the wet wind. John climbed in last, mask and goggles giving him the look of someone overdressed for the job. The bench creaked as he settled, a muffled knock of wood through wool and canvas. As the convoy rumbled out, Ellison stood watching in the drizzle, the engines carrying his men toward the uncertain front. The truck groaned northward, canvas flapping, the men swaying with every rut. Around him, soldiers tore into their bundles from home. Laughter, curses, a shouted,
"She said yes!"
as one man waved a crumpled letter. John sat straighter. He struggled with the envelopes. Wooden fingers were clumsy enough. Wearing gloves on top of that was worse. After a struggle, Larry held out his hand in a silent offering. John reluctantly handed the envelopes over. Larry sliced them open with his knife and pulled out the letters. John nodded in thanks, his gloved fingers clumsy as he unfolded Margaret's letter first. He forgot himself for a moment, wooden joints rubbing faintly as he smoothed the paper flat. Her script ran steady across the page.
My dearest John, the children are all well, though every day seems louder than the last. Josephine turned 5 and insisted we bake her a cake, even with the sugar ration stamps so thin. I told her we'd make do, and she told me you'd have found a way. She misses you most at bedtime. Joseph writes from the ship when the censors allow. He sounds well, though I don't like how he downplays the danger. He says the sea is cold but the company warm, and that he means to make you proud. His letter is folded in with this one. Helen won't come in from the plant without grease on her cheeks. She swears she's building planes faster than any boy on the line, and I believe her. She teases that you'll be flying in something she built before long. The younger ones send their love. Ben scrawled his name himself. You'll see the scribble on the back. And little Ruth drew you a picture of Daddy with a hammer that I can hardly part with, but she made me promise it would go in the envelope. I have gotten almost every letter of yours, but though some arrive late or missing pages, I read them until the paper grows thin. We miss you, John. Come home safe. Yours always, Mags.
Beneath Margaret's neat fold was Joseph's letter, brief, printed in pencil.
Dad, don't worry. Work is hard, but I can keep up. My shipmates call me Junior and say I've got your face. I'll make you proud, Tom.
And on another scrap, Helen's rushed scrawl.
They tried to slow me down on the rivet line, said girls can't keep pace. I outdrove them all. If I can build wings, you better use them. Helen.
John traced the words with a leather-clad fingertip, his chest aching with longing. A small box had been tucked in the parcel, too. Lemon drops. His favorite. He unwrapped one. He rolled it in his gloved palm, the scent sharp and sweet. He carefully turned away and worked the drop through all the layers. He moved it around his mouth, questioning his own anatomy as he did. It tasted as good as ever. Impossibly, he salivated, his tongue flexing as easily as flesh. He shook his head.
Magic.
He closed the box and tucked it away. His goggled eyes stared through the canvas flap at the blur of countryside. Uncertainty truly weighed him down. The lemon drop noisily clattered inside his head as he worked it. Then a voice from the benches cut through the quiet.
They censored the name of the guy she dumped me for? Why would they do that?
The truck erupted in laughter and jeers. One man clapped him on the shoulder, another howled.
Maybe so you don't track him down and kill him.
Maybe he is the censor.
The noise rolled on, filling the space, masking John's silence. He let the corner of his carved mouth twitch, almost a smile, and the truck jolted forward into the dust of the road. The Two Mirrors. Deep in the south wing of Wewelsburg Castle, a former banquet hall now served as the Reich's nerve center. Maps papered the stone walls, wires crawled across the floor, and a dozen typewriters hammered out the pulse of the war. The room hummed with activity. Clerks hunched over typewriters, Morse operators hammered at keys, and aides shuffled stacks of freshly inked requests from every corner of the Reich. At the far end, flanked by SS banners, stood two mirrors, one tall and round, its silvered surface rippling faintly with every breath of air. The speaking mirror. The other, a small hand mirror, silver oval frame, ornate handle, leaves, and a beast decorating the edges. The seeing mirror, which glittered like ice even in shadow. Propped in a custom-made stand on a table beside the other. Typists waited in silence, pencils poised above pads, typewriters hushed. The air felt charged, as though all power in the Reich flowed through this fragile thing. A hush fell when Himmler entered. His field gray uniform was immaculate, every movement deliberate, the cut severe and unadorned. Dr. Klaus Reiter followed 2 paces behind, notebook in hand, head inclined, as if he were merely another clerk. Reiter wore the same muted gray, tailored close and severe, silver piping tracing the seams, the collar tabs and shoulder boards marked rank without flourish. Leather belt and holster were present, polished, unused. His peaked cap sat square, insignia precise. A general stepped forward, anxiety etched deep in his face. He gestured at the heaps of requests.
Herr Reichsführer, every command is demanding clarity. Moscow, Rome is a channel. We cannot sift it fast enough.
Himmler's thin lips barely moved.
I'll in time, but one question first.
The clerk straightened. The room held its breath. Himmler approached the talking mirror.
Mir on the wall. How burns the Allies' atomic fireball?
The glass rippled. A voice, smooth and resonant, filled the chamber.
They split the atom, cleave the core, and waken the sun to burn once more. A bottled star, a fire chained, yet once unleashed, none remain. Oak Ridge spins the metal bright, to feed the beast of endless night. Handford's waters birth the seed, plutonium wrought for wartime deed. In Los Alamos guarded deep, they bind the death that will not sleep. When fissures bloom, when suns ignite, the earth shall drown in burning light. Men to shadows, stone to dust, a single flash and empires crushed. The end of man is in their hand, stealing fire from God's own hand.
Murmurs broke out. The generals exchanged startled glances. Tennessee, Washington, a desert. How far had the Allies taken the atomic bomb? Himmler raised one gloved hand. Silence. He gestured to the seeing mirror. Ryder nodded once, and an aide whispered the locations aloud. The mirror shimmered, then cleared. The mirror's mist swirled, then sharpened into endless hangar-like halls. Rows upon rows of calotrons, giant electromagnetic machines, loomed like cathedral organs, their coils glowing faintly. Dozens of young women in coveralls sat at control panels, turning dials, monitoring gauges. The perspective of the mirror almost seemed to float behind them, revealing miles of power lines outside, thrumming with stolen electricity from the Tennessee Valley Authority. The vision shifted, a barren river plain, massive concrete reactor blocks half buried in scaffolding, workers swarming over them like ants. The Columbia River ran close, pipes feeding its waters into cooling towers that belched white steam into the cold air. Soldiers stood guard on catwalks. Even half-finished, the sheer scale of it dwarfed anything the Germans had imagined. A colonel's face had gone pale.
Meine Güte, it's worse than we imagined.
Another snapped.
These sites must be destroyed. Sabotage, bombing, assassinations, whatever it takes.
The chamber erupted in voices. Only Himmler remained still, eyes glinting in the mirror's glow. Finally, he turned, gaze sweeping the room until it settled on Ryder.
You see, Oberfuhrer, already your prize has given us more than spies or Enigma ever could. 2 mirrors, and the will laid bare. The purest form of intelligence.
Ryder bowed his head slightly.
The mirrors reveal much, Reichsführer, but we are stalled with the wand. The Thamische Metrune will not yield the phrase. Its power remains locked.
Himmler's expression thinned, as if disappointment were a private luxury. He stepped closer, speaking softly, only for Ryder.
Then we turn to another source, the staff of the Drachenfee.
Ryder's eyes flickered. The Dragonfey whispered in old tales as both witch and dragon. Himmler's voice carried just enough to be heard by the nearest generals.
Accelerate Project Drakendorn. The Reich cannot afford delay.
Ryder inclined his head, calm even as the enormity settled.
It will be done.
Himmler pivoted back to the mirrors.
Proceed with their requests. Let the Führer's enemies feel we see them as clearly as they see the sun.
The chamber buzzed with frantic life, aides scratching notes, telegraph operators clattering out reports, officers talking over one another as targets were debated. Piles of paper grew by the minute, the air thick with ink and urgency. Ryder turned, hopeful his contribution would give him due considerations.
Reichsführer,
he said softly. The words cut cleanly through the din. Several clerks faltered mid-sentence. Himmler turned, expression unreadable.
I have 2 queries for the mirrors. First, The Drakenfee's staff. You yourself have altered its pursuit.
Himmler's eyes sharpened.
Yes, that will be scheduled at once.
He gestured to an aide, who began noting it down. Ryder inclined his head, then continued.
Second, the American captain. His resonance suggests not artifact, but a living source, if I can identify its origin.
Himmler cut in smoothly.
Also to be scheduled.
Ryder inclined his head.
With your permission, I would request private time to consult them.
A ripple passed through the officers nearby, surprised that he would make such a request. Himmler studied him in silence, dark eyes flat behind rimless spectacles. At last, he said,
Private.
His voice was quiet, almost amused.
There is no privacy now, Oberfuhrer. Not for enemies, not for us. The mirrors lay all things bare.
His gaze lingered, just a fraction too long.
If truce is only truce, why should you fear witnesses?
The question hung in the vaulted chamber like a blade. Ryder inclined his head, slow, precise.
I fear nothing, Reichsfuhrer, only inefficiency.
Himmler gave the barest flicker of a smile that wasn't a smile at all.
Then schedule your request. In due course, all things will be known. Even your captain will be explained.
He turned away, already fielding demands from a general thrusting papers at him. The moment was over. Ryder stepped back, notebook tucked under his arm, expression as calm as ever. Only his fingers pressed against the leather binding betrayed the tension. No privacy. Not for him. Not for anyone. The thought unsettled him more than he liked.